It's time now for a look at latest in local news. In the news today is the National Day of Prayer, and at 12 noon today at downtown Jesup at the courthouse. Wayne County has a program. Everyone is invited to attend the event today. Pastor Dale Baines will give the opening prayer, and prayers will be offered for the following groups. City Manager Nick Ellis will give the prayer for government. Pastor Brooks Haddock will give a prayer for the military. Pastor Tim Horn will give a prayer for businesses. Pastor Keith Laracy will give a prayer for first responders. Pastor Pete Boyd will give a prayer for churches. Pastor Tom Maddox will give a prayer for the media. Pastor Scott Hatton will give a prayer for families. Pastor Devin Mixon will give a prayer for education. Once again, all that taking place today at 12 noon at the courthouse in downtown Jesup. Again, everyone is invited to come out and participate and pray on this National Day of Prayer. WIFO will be on hand. We'll have a full report for tomorrow here on the local news. But again, today's the National Day of Prayer. Special ceremony at the courthouse today at 12 noon. Again, everyone is invited to attend. Early voting continues here in Wayne County at the new election building in Wayne County, which is located at 306 East Pine Street. On Wednesday, another 126 Wayne Countyans took the time to vote early. 115 of those Republicans, 9 Democrats, and 2 nonpartisan voters. 3-day total of early votes in Wayne County cast thus far is at 364. Voting continues all the way up until May 17th. Primary date is Tuesday, May 21st. The time of the early voting, Monday through Friday, from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. There are 2 Saturdays of early voting. This Saturday, May the 4th, and next Saturday, May the 11th. The Saturday times of early voting are from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Again, this is week 1 of a 3-week voting period. Again, you have today, Friday, and Saturday left in week 1. Today's time from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Again, early voting taking place in Wayne County in the 3-day total at 364. We'll be back with more news after this word from our sponsor, other commercial messages, so please stay tuned. In other news, the case of the state of Georgia versus former Jesup police officer Stephen Wright continues today in courtroom C. Testimony picks back up this morning at 9 a.m. State and Assistant DA Nigel Lush is still presenting the state side of the case. State says they have several more witnesses, but should finish sometime today, and then the defense attorney, Adrian Browning, will begin calling the defense witnesses to the stand. She told the jury of 6 men and 6 women in opening arguments on Monday that her client, the defendant Stephen Wright, will take the stand and testify in front of the jury, will give his side of the story as he and his attorney have denied the charges and claimed that the officer is innocent of any criminal activity. He is charged with a 10-count indictment, serious charges including sexual battery and other charges. On Wednesday, one of the state's key witnesses, Marley LaRoche, finished her testimony, was cross-examined by the defense attorney Adrian Browning. LaRoche told the jury on Wednesday that Officer Wright picked her up one day at her residence, drove her around, and eventually drove her to the back of the old Kmart shopping center, forced her to perform a sexual act on him. She says she was scared and did not know what the officer was going to do. She says she told her that he was above the law, and at one point, the witness stand, she stated she was fearful that Officer Wright might kill her. After the event behind the Kmart shopping center, he drove her home and told her not to tell anyone. And if she did, he would make certain that her entire family spent the rest of their life in prison. LaRoche testified that after the raid on her house, in which a lot of meth and stolen property was confiscated by police, she was not arrested, but was working with law enforcement as a CI, confidential informant. She testified she was doing anything she could to try to help family members who were arrested that day and still in jail. She says she did tell a family member about the incident behind the Kmart shopping center the night it happened. They got in touch with a lawyer who had them contact the GBI. That's when all this came to light, and soon the GBI conducted an investigation, which led to the officer's arrest and eventual firing from the Jesup PD. Defense attorney Adrian Browning, in opening statements, told the jury that this was all about a big payday. And in court Wednesday, Judge Bert Guy, who was presiding over the case, read 2 statements that were stipulated by both the defense attorney and the state about the cash settlements in this case. The LaRoche family, whose home was raided and all the drugs and stolen merchandise was confiscated, reached a settlement of $220,000. Marley LaRoche and her attorney settled for $200,000, in which Marley LaRoche testified on Wednesday she received a check for $90,000. Assistant DA Nigel Lush asked LaRoche on the stand if she ever plotted to get money, to which she stated no. She said she just wanted to put all this behind her. Assistant DA Nigel Lush, while asking his witness questions, entered a lot of text messages between Marley LaRoche and Officer Wright. A lot of body cam evidence also entered for the jury. Under cross-examination, Adrian Browning began by going over the fact that Marley LaRoche had to be found last Wednesday in order for this trial to proceed, as she was hiding in her house. Adrian Browning asked her if she was hiding in a crawl space or a hidden room. LaRoche said she was in the bathroom. Browning got LaRoche to admit she's currently in custody facing several charges, but she told the defense attorney after her testimony in court Wednesday She's free to go. She's hoping to enter drug court. She is 6 months pregnant. Brownie went over text messages as well between her and Officer Wright, showing that LaRoche was cooperating with Officer Wright to make other drug busts. She volunteered to the officers that she was a dancer in Jacksonville. Brownie went over 2 statements to get to the GBI who interviewed her after she went to the GBI. Browning asked her on the witness stand, "Isn't this the first time you have stated that you were in fear of your life or that you might be killed?" LaRoche testified that she kept the shirt that she was wearing that night behind the Kmart shopping center. It had a Wright's semen on it, and she gave that to the GBI, and it was a match for Officer Wright. Also testifying for the state was former Jesup police officer Jonathan McCullough, who used to work in the drug office with Officer Wright. Jonathan McCullough said that Officer Wright was his supervisor. Assistant DA Nigel Lush had Jonathan McCullough explain to the jury how a confidential informant is selected and how they are required to sign a contract with the Jesup PD before they can be used as a confidential informant. McCullough said once Wright was arrested, the GBI requested all of his files from Officer Wright's office, and apparently no signed contracts were ever found involving the 3 young females who have been mentioned in this trial and worked as a CI with Officer Wright. McCullough said it was a requirement that a CI sign a contract before being able to work as a confidential informant with local police. Once again, this trial continues today. The state expected to wrap up its witness list, and then the defense gets their opportunity to present its witnesses and its side of the case. And again, the defendant, Stephen Wright, is expected to take the stand in his own defense. Again, his own defense attorney, Adrian Browning, told the jury in opening statements that her client did some questionable things and probably shouldn't be a police officer, but she told the jury that he did not do anything criminal, did not break the law, and she's seeking a not guilty verdict in the case. Again, WIFO family back in court today. Have another report for you tomorrow here on Friday's newscast. We'll be back with some final news notes after this word from our sponsor, other commercial messages, so please stay tuned. Final notes in the news: big event tomorrow night at the Pine Forest Country Club. The Wayne County Chamber of Commerce hosting their first annual fundraising gala. It's called A Night on the Island. It features the Second Chance Band and all kinds of live and silent auction items, a flamingo pool, other events taking place. Again, tickets are on sale today at the Chamber of Commerce office. Tickets are $50 for members, $75 for non-members. Everyone's invited. Again, that takes place tomorrow night at the Pine Forest Country Club. Once again, it gets underway at 6 p.m. If you need more information, call the Chamber today at 912-427-2028. This coming Saturday, May 4th, the second annual Wayne County Board of Tourism's Jesup Porch Fest. That'll be one of the topics today on the Butch and Bob Show. It's from 1 to 5 this Saturday, set for the historic Old Town Jesup District. This year's event has had great response from artists and will include the streets of Brunswick, Cherry, Plum, Wayne, and Bay Streets, and will spread out to include Elm and Hickory Streets. This year's musical offerings feature both local and out-of-town talent for participants to enjoy. Visitors to the event are encouraged to travel by car to the Elm and Hickory sites, then come back to the central event area for the rest of the afternoon. Golf carts and bicycles are also welcome. Also, chairs are encouraged to maximize the enjoyment of the entertainment. There are 16 host homes and churches with 17 performances planned. Again, Heather Altman will be our special guest today. Have a full lineup of the entertainment for you this Saturday. Wayne Memorial Hospital Blood Connection, supplemental blood provider for the hospital, is holding a blood drive in the hospital parking lot on Tuesday, May 7th from 11 to 6 p.m. All donors will receive a $70 gift card from the Blood Connection. And the blood mobile will be located on the right side of the main parking lot near the cafeteria. To make an appointment to donate blood, log on to the bloodconnection.org website, type in Jesup or the sponsor code 7980. Appointments are encouraged, but they state walk-ins are certainly welcome. Once again, the date, Tuesday, May 7th. Finally, in the news, Wayne County sadly says goodbye to 47-year-old Jamie Overstreet, who passed away Tuesday, April 30th. Jamie, a lifelong resident of Wayne County, has resided in Harborview Health Center for the past 3 years under the care of Hospice of South Georgia. Jamie was a hard worker, as he and his dad, Jimmy Overstreet, operated Overstreet Lawn Services for 15 years. Jamie was a friend of many, and he always attended Wayne County sporting events, whether it was a game or a banquet or a special event. Jamie was always there. Reinhardt & Sons Funeral Home says a memorial service will be announced at a later date, and as soon as we get the date and the location, we'll pass that information along here on the local news. Again, Jamie Overstreet passing away Tuesday at the age of 47. Simply one of a kind. I'll miss him. That's, again, Jamie Overstreet passing away on Tuesday. That'll do it for the latest in local news. Sports comes your way in a few minutes. The Jackets head to the Elite Eight in high school baseball. We got all the details coming up in sports. Again, Bob Morgan saying have a great day.